2 years ago, Kim Lee, an American woman living in China and wife of a prominent educator in the country, went public about having been brutally beaten by her husband. She posted the following images on China's version of Twitter, Sina Weibo. I will warn you, though, these are graphic. Li Yang, known for his eccentric English learning program called Crazy English, publicly admitted to beating Lee and apologized while blaming, quote, character and cultural differences for their problems. A week ago, after an 18-month battle, a Chinese court granted her a divorce on grounds of domestic abuse, gave her custody of her 3 daughters, and awarded her $1.9 million, as well as approving a 3-month restraining order on Lee, setting a legal and cultural precedent. How hard was it for you to see that no one was reacting to you when you tried to talk to police, when you tried to talk to anyone that would listen to what you'd been through? Were you surprised at just the lack of interest that people had in hearing your case?
It wasn't the first time that he had been violent toward me, and I had tried to even speak to my sister-in-law and got pretty much the reaction. That's just how men are, so just deal with it.
Well, and I want to show these photos again that we showed earlier. Can you describe to us what he did to you exactly?
Yeah, you can too, because he went on TV proudly talking about it. He sat on my back and hit my head into the floor 10 or 12 times. Choked me, pulled my hair, and when I tried to get away, used my ears to pull back my head. That's why my ear was ripped and bleeding there. So it was extreme violence. It was not, any type of violence is unacceptable, but it was extreme. And he, as I said, he also went on TV graphically describing on more than one interview what he had done. His exact words were, yes, I beat her sometimes, but I never thought she would go to the police because that's not what Chinese women do.
Is there a generational shift, do you think, in attitude towards women being beaten?
Yes, definitely. I talked to many of my friends in my age, and many of them are male friends, and I would say a majority of them think domestic violence is wrong and the society should do something about it. But when I talked to the older generation, like people born before 1980s, they would tend to think that domestic violence is a family issue, and others don't know what really happened between the husband and wife.
Kim, I know you have 3 daughters, and just your message to women, to young women, and just to women around the world that are going through something similar to what you went through, advice you have to them on being heard.
To be totally honest, my 3 daughters were the reason I did all of this. I can't take any sort of glory as being a women's rights activist. The women I cared about were those 3 little ones in my home. And what I care about is what I've said over and over. No one has a right to beat them, and no one has a right to infringe on their health and their mental state. They have a right to live an equal life, free of violence, and no societal cliches of don't air your dirty laundry in public or this isn't your culture should keep them silent. And that's my wish for them and for all the women who still write to me every day by Weibo, still sharing their stories. They have a right to a violence-free life, and they should do whatever they can to see that realized.